When I bought the old lake property on the edge of town, people thought I'd lost my mind. The place had been abandoned for decades, rusted docks, overgrown trails, and an eerie silence that made even the wind sound suspicious. But I didn't buy it for peace and quiet. I bought it because of one thing the previous owners didn't realize. The lake wasn't private. It was federal water, and that meant the neighborhood HOA had no legal control over it. At first, I kept my plans quiet. I spent a few weekends cleaning up the area, restoring the dock, and setting up small solar lights along the pathway. Then I put up a new sign at the entrance. Public access. Federal waterway open by permit. Within a day, I could feel the tension brewing. The HOA president, a woman named Linda, showed up in her golf cart like she was patrolling enemy territory. "You can't do this," she snapped, arms folded tight across her chest. "This lake belongs to the community. We have rules." I smiled politely. "Actually, ma'am, the waterway was reclassified in 1996 as federal. The land around it's mine now, but the lake itself? It's open water. You might want to check the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers registry." Her jaw tightened. "We'll see about that." Over the next week, things escalated fast. I started getting anonymous notes on my fence. "Leave our lake alone. You'll regret this. HOA will handle you." It was ridiculous. I wasn't disturbing anyone. I was restoring something beautiful. But I knew people like Linda. They didn't want control threatened. They wanted dominance. Then, on a Saturday morning, it all exploded. I woke up to the sound of sirens. When I stepped outside, 3 police cars were parked near the dock, lights flashing. Linda and half the HOA board were standing there waving their arms like they'd caught a criminal. "There he is," Linda shouted. "That's the man trespassing on community property. He's blocking access to the lake." One of the officers walked up to me. "Sir, we got a call about unauthorized construction and restricted access to a community lake." I handed him a folder I'd prepared weeks earlier. Inside were copies of federal waterway codes, the property deed, and an email chain with the Army Corps of Engineers confirming the lake's status. The officer flipped through the pages, then glanced at Linda. "Ma'am," he said carefully, "this isn't private property. According to these documents, the lake is classified as a federal waterway, which means no homeowners association can regulate it." Linda's face turned beet red. "That's impossible. We've had control for decades." "Actually," I interjected, "you've had the illusion of control. No one ever challenged it before. But legally, it's out of your jurisdiction. You can't enforce community rules here. That dock you're standing on? It's mine. The water under it? Federal." The officers looked at each other and shrugged. One of them handed back my papers. "Everything seems in order, sir. We'll close this call." Linda was furious. She followed me up the path, ranting about lawsuits, regulations, and neighborhood unity. I stopped at the gate, turned around, and pointed to the metal sign I'd just installed. "Private property. Entry restricted by Federal Code 33 CFR Par 328. "Linda," I said calmly, "I'm not your enemy. I'm just using my rights. You might want to read that code before you make any more phone calls." She stormed off, muttering under her breath, but I knew it wasn't over. Over the next few days, the HOA tried everything. They sent me violation letters even though I wasn't part of the association. They called the city zoning office, who told them the same thing the police had. Federal waterways fall under national, not local jurisdiction. Then they tried to get clever and put up a new fence on their side of the property line, blocking the old walking path to the lake. I didn't mind. I simply built my own access point from the north side and filed a complaint with the Regional Environmental Agency about their obstruction of a public waterway. Within a week, inspectors showed up. The HOA's fence came down fast. When the federal agents posted the citation notice, Linda finally realized I wasn't bluffing. I didn't celebrate publicly, but I'll admit, I smiled when I saw her expression that day. A few weeks later, I officially reopened the lake under its rightful status. Locals could come by permit, fishermen started visiting again, and even a kayaking group asked if they could use the space for weekend training. It brought life back to the place. Then, something unexpected happened. Linda showed up one morning, alone, no clipboard, no attitude, just quiet. She stood on the dock, staring at the water. You really did your homework, she said softly. I thought we were protecting the community. I didn't realize we were breaking the law. I nodded. I get it. Most people don't. But sometimes the best way to protect something is to let it belong to everyone again. She sighed, almost smiling. You made a lot of enemies at first, you know. Yeah, I said. But the lake doesn't care who likes me, it just needed someone who'd listen. Now, every evening when the sun sets, the water reflects a calm, golden light that feels like justice. The HOA doesn't bother me anymore. They can't. The federal code locked them out, not me. And sometimes when Linda passes by on her golf cart, she waves. Small victories, quiet peace, and one old lake finally free from the chains of false authority.